When you really talk to people that understand this conflict, there is a lot more behind the story. We see all of these Ukraine flags everywhere, and a lot of people, they don't understand really what's going on. You're in a war, but yet you're on the cover of Vogue, you're doing Grammys, Golden Globes. I mean, you're just being paraded about all this American media.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants of the 80th Golden Globe Award ceremony, the war in Ukraine is not over yet, but the tide is turning, and it is already clear who will win.
It's even Biden himself who said many years ago, this is what's going to provoke a reaction from Russia. It looked like there were some pretty simple steps to mitigate this risk. There was a NATO bombing campaign of Libya that basically bombed them back into the Stone Age, one of the richest countries in Africa.
Right.
Just destroyed them. It was punishing him for crimes he had not yet committed. The prerequisite is not that they have to attack a NATO country. It's that you have to come up with a good enough story in order to go in and attack or bomb them.
You could see all of this this animosity and this targeting of Russia being stirred in the United States way back in 2015-16. Most of it had to do with the elections. It had to do with Hillary Clinton and Russiagate. And if you go back to that time period, you could see that the United States was moving towards some sort of bad outcome with Russia. Relations between Russia and the United States were in a very bad state. I don't think you can really understand this conflict between Russia, Ukraine, and Russia and what people call the collective West until you go back to the Maidan and then you go back to the 2016 election. And I think that 80% of the world also see what's going on between Russia and the United States and NATO. They don't just take it from the context of this war started on February 24th, 2022, which is what Zelensky and the collective West media would like the narrative to be. I think a lot of people realize that this goes back to 2014 and the Maidan coup, maybe even further back to the first regime change operation in Ukraine that dated in 2003. This conflict has been an evolution. And for 8 years, we can't forget that Ukraine was being controlled by a coup government from 2014 onwards. The government of Yanukovych was a democratically elected government. No one disputes that, not even the United States. And the one thing that the West could have done is for Ukraine to just say that they're going to be neutral. And then this conflict would have been averted. But that was not the case. We actually saw a ramping up of the rhetoric for Ukraine to enter into NATO. The collective West continues to frame this war as an unprovoked conflict. But all the other wars that the United States, that they engaged in, the media never labeled those conflicts unprovoked. Right. You can see how they continue to want to poke at the bear. This is something that's not going to end.